a warm welcome to all of you for the session on business analysis. So let me start with a brief introduction of myself. My name is Sandhya Sudhindra, and I've got an overall experience of 17 years in the industry, IT industry. And of these 17 years, I've spent close to 15 years with Infosys Limited. As you all know, I'm a very large blue chip organization, which not only handles though the larger bit of the organization, which is the services, but I have spent all my 15 years at Infosys working for their product unit, the banking business unit, which has a suite of banking solutions, starting from the core banking solution to channel banking, mobile banking. My experience basically spans across all these products or the solutions that Infosys banking business unit has. And of these 15 years of my time, a very extremely enriching experience, I would say, because I started my journey in the organization as a fresh software engineer straight out of the college. But then when I came out of 15 years, I was heading a global support unit, managing 110 customers with some close to 200 people reporting to me across not just one unit, but across virtually, both from the domestic, from India and across other countries as well. And apart from that, in these 15 years, I have spent substantial number of years working across, wearing multiple roles, responsibilities, not restricting to a particular unit in a product, but then I've done the whole lot of, all the activities, roles in a software development life cycle. Started my career as a developer, then I was in a tech support a role. I have done a lot of product trainings. I'm imparting at this point in time about the business analysis. I've done the product training for the entire product functionality, technicalities involved in the product across various customers. And then I've done a whole lot of business analysis as an youngster. I was when we did not have any IIBA or BA book of knowledge. Probably folks like me evolved all these processes and brought the best practices out of this business analysis. So I was involved in business analysis thoroughly. Got involved in documentation, requirement elicitation, requirement analysis very early in my career, and then moved on to the testing role because I wanted to understand the product functionality in depth, wanted to know the data dictionary in depth. So close to 6 years I was in the managing releases, managing the testing projects. That comprised of best part of the product STLC experience. And then I moved on to a client management role wherein I was handling delivery for entire South Asia, involving some 30 customers at any given point in time, managing 20 to 25 projects. That was an extremely exhilarating experience I had in terms of, I would say in a broader sense, the glorified business analysis role again, because it's an extremely important uh, position any project and an organization would have. So I was, as a delivery manager handling doing this implementations, product implementations for channel banking, core banking across South Asia, and then moved on finally to the global support role, heading, setting up the process in place, post implementation, what services support need to be provided for a product. So, again, there I spent close to 4 to 5 years doing this client handling bit. So as I said in the beginning, so in a nutshell, it's not just about understanding a certain role from a third party's position. I have literally been there, done each of these roles to understand the challenges involved, what are the best ways of handling it, because the end goal of any organization, of any project, is to come out with flying colors. On time completion with a given budget, ensuring revenues come in. So role has been enriching that way, doing all this. So this was basically my experience with Infosys. As I moved out of Infosys, I was working for a mid-run company, for a banking analytics company again, which was dealing with multiple core banking culling out the data from multiple core banking solutions simultaneously, and whatever is the, let's say, in our country we have Reserve Bank as the central body, so whatever regulatory compliances that would require, putting a BA team in place, getting the work, understanding the underlying data from many banking solutions, coming out with reporting structure for that, reporting framework, and providing the required report generation, the output for the end stakeholders. So this was the job as far as my second company was concerned. I was handling it as AVP, handling the delivery part of it as a delivery director. And then I moved out into a new, and now I'm from the last 1 year. I've been working as a chief operating officer. Basically, I'm consulting for a few hours every day, handling the delivery operations and again business development for this new organization. So I'm sorry, I hope it was indeed brief and not very long. So this is my overall experience in the IT industry. And so given that at any given point in time, I've been a business analyst, I've worked with a set of business analysts, I've also helped them lay down the processes involved in building, let's say, a template for a business analysts to commonly use, reuse across the projects. So I'm here basically to talk more about it and also share my practical experiences in terms of handling this business analyst role in a better way. So now I would request, I would also want to understand from the other end, the participants, your experiences, your past experience, and why are you here, basically what is the objective, what are the takeaways you're looking at from this program. So I would like to understand better my participants as well. If you may please start introducing yourself. If you can start with Daisy.
Hi, my name is Daisy, and my background is actually in marketing and public relations. So I've been doing that for the past 5 years, and I'm looking to go into a different career because I'm not enjoying what I'm doing. So I felt like the business analysis would be the right fit for me.
Okay. Yeah, welcome to the program. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, the next person, please. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, the line is slightly feeble. If you can please come close to.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Hi, this is Parul, and I have worked in Delhi. I'm from Delhi, so I worked in Delhi for the 2.5 years. And I was working as a business analyst in a stock brokerage company called Exolentonline. So my daily task was like taking the leads of that particular insurance company, like which I was a part of. And I wanted to pursue business analyst because I think I'm one main reason is I'm from a non-IT background completely, and second that I have interest in business field more as compared to IT field. So as compared to the core IT thing. So I think I might be able to use all my skills in as being a business analyst. That is the reason I'm trying to understand it better in terms of in terms of IT now. So that's the reason I'm doing. I want to pursue business analyst field.
So any domain experience as well,
Actually there were two. I was appointed as a business analyst, and then later, as there was no auditing in that company, like in the sense there was no recording done when the employees used to call, there was no recording done. So I was asked to manage that as well. So then completely they changed my domain, and I was then later taking care of quality auditing for the insurance company in that particular stock brokerage field.
Okay. Sure. So any particular takeaway you are looking at from this session?
I want to understand I want to take this demo and understand it better and then maybe if I have questions, I can just get back and ask about it.
Okay, sure. So welcome to the session.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. The next person, please, if you may please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, okay, this is Umar, and
Umar,
yeah, I'm just traveling
please. Yeah,
like 3 months ago, and I have a couple of months of experience in procurement and office engineering. I've done masters in project management, so I want to pursue the master was in the journal. Like I want to pursue my career in IT field. So I have a couple of months of experience in the manual testing, and it was just like a couple of months, and I've been through testing some of the test cases, and there was and few months of experience in as a business analyst. So I think there is a much more growth in this IT field.
Yeah. So, as a testing analyst, you were part of the internal testing group, or were you associated with some kind of testing along with the clients? How was it,
Yeah,
Uma?
yeah. Actually, I was the internee in the company back in Pakistan. So, it was the ID there is national database company. So I was the internee there, but I suppose I used to handle this something like testing materials. So I had a concept of a little bit of manual testing. So that's why I want to pursue and I want to understand what is actually the testing and analysis is what happened into that. So so I want to pursue something like an IT.
Okay, interesting. Because testing, I would say, is a stepping stone for, in many cases, testing
Yeah.
has been the testing is a stepping stone for business analysts as well, because that's the place where you get to know, you would be the end user internally for the product or the
Yeah.
solution that's developed or whatever that you're testing. So that kind of endorses that you understand the functionality in its entirety, and it also helps to evolve. The major strength is that you would have understood what you are actually going to work on, and any subsequent work as a business analyst that one would do for that same solution, it helps in a big way, in doing the right impact analysis, and the business analysis, everything, the planning, everything. Typically people who come with a testing background, having a overall knowledge, kind of complete end-to-end knowledge of the solution that they are working on, definitely is a stepping stone. That's good to hear.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So
Thank you.
welcome to the session. Yeah.
Thank you.
So any other, Umar, any takeaways specifically you're looking at from the session, other than understanding the general concepts and how to go about doing a BS job? If there is anything specific you're looking at, please do let me know, all of you, so it helps me to structure my sessions according to that. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I want I will ask a question and further I think we should
Sure.
move, and definitely I will ask a question if I want.
Okay. So the next person, please. Mark, I had five. I hope 5 participants on the call, if I'm right, because it's not listing it over here.
This is Taman. Hi, everybody. How are you guys? I am actually a medical student. I have no experience whatsoever in IT, but my father is a software engineer, and so is my mother. So basically, I grew up playing with hard drives and hard disks and all. The reason I'm choosing to step into IT, I actually got a job with the Blue Cross Shield. I don't know how I bullshitted my way through as a business analyst. I just worked there 1 month, and I swear to God, I really don't know how I got the job, but I just did, I guess, suppose, from my father's knowledge and all. I just got so tired of working with dead bodies. I just wanted to get the hell away from the medical field. I'm most likely dropping out this year. This is my third year. I'm very close to finishing, but I guess I just can't do it. The reason why I'm in this particular class is because even though I feel like I have pretty much knowledge, as for my father's, for example, his old experiences and all, he's taught me the whole SDLC, the testing phase of it, and the the IT and the business phase of it and everything. I feel like I still need to learn more, just as a refresher. So, specifically, it's going to help me with my job. I don't think I'm most likely sure they're going to fire me when they find out I bullshitted my way through. But until they don't, I'm going to see if I can learn it all the way. And maybe the job will be mine. Hopefully, I'll be able to keep it.
Okay, fantastic. I mean, very few I have come across, with completely different line of profession, one is aspiring. Very heartening to hear this, because end of the day, learning is a continuous process for all of us, and you developing your interest completely in a different domain. It's really heartening to know that. So I'm sure I'll help you out in brushing up on all the concepts of business analysis. Also take some examples. We can work on a specific instance. Maybe take a small requirement, as if it's coming from from an end user, and we'll see how we can go about building it, applying all the industry standard practices. So that will help you in a nutshell understand the business analyst role. So I mean, I can see that you're here basically to understand all the task techniques, what it takes to move on into an IT role and specifically into a BS role. So let's
like everybody's been telling me that mostly the whole theoretical part, it comes to you naturally, when you just start working. Like, for example, because this is a whole healthcare domain, and I have healthcare knowledge, obviously, because I'm this close to being a doctor, and obviously in medical school they do teach you nowadays about the whole Obamacare and all that other stuff that's going on. So I guess that's why I probably got the job, but I still wanted to learn the theoretical part as well as the whole practical part to it.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, as you said, healthcare domain, you will be definitely rich in knowledge in the healthcare domain. So yeah, with that as a foundation, how business analysts, I mean, the BA tasks and techniques can be applied. So we'll look at that in detail subsequently. Yeah. So next person, please, for the introduction. Hello. Hello, Mark.
Yes, Sandhya.
So we are done with the introduction, right?
Yes, and you know what? Actually, we got a few of the new students who have joined. We have Manju, Guru, and Pranita, Sagarika.
Okay. So Manju. Hello.
Yeah, I think Manju, she went offline. I see Pranita. Hello, Pranita, you there? Sagarika, can you hear us? Okay, I think they have just
Yeah,
so yeah. Hello, Sagarika.
I can hear you guys. You want me to give my intro?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, I've done my master's in computer science, and I have 2 years of business analyst experience, and I have worked both of them for a banking domain as a business system analyst. I played both the BA and QA role. So yeah, that's it. Now in search of a new project.
So any co-banking product that you have worked for, or it was more of services in banking?
It was like a application, web app One was like a customer service, like a customer complaint capture. Another one was totally different. It was for AML. I helped them in the AML identifying the, anti-money laundering, and that towards that side, yeah.
So are you AML certified as well? Sagarika, right? I'm speaking to
Yeah,
Sagarika.
yeah. No, I don't. I'm not AML certified, but that was my first project, and they actually had me for an AML project, and I just had some first few months and just trying to figure out what is the AML in that company and what are the tools and all. And they changed me into another project, so I was playing as a QA again in that company. So I was doing multiple roles in the same company.
Okay, thanks, Sagarika. So I welcome all the participants once again for the session. So the objective agenda for today's session is to basically was the introduction and subsequently to give you a summary of how this business analysis training is going to be structured. So what are the areas that we are going to touch upon as part of this training. So let's move on to the subsequent slides. I hope all of you can see the screen. So as I said, the agenda is to introduction to business analysis. What are the key concepts in BA's role? What are the knowledge areas depicted by BA BOK or an IABA standards? What is a task in the BA box language, and how do we apply it in real sense? So understanding the tasks, the techniques, and what are the underlying competencies. We just had a flare of people across having experience in various roles in an IT project or in an IT organization. So what are the actual underlying competencies required to perform a BA's role? So we'll look at that, all these briefly. So what is business analysis? So this is as per the BA BOK definition. Business analysis is a set of tasks and techniques used to work as a liaison among stakeholders in order to understand the structure, policies, and operation of an organization, and to recommend solutions that enable the organization to achieve its goals. See, in my experience that I have seen, a business analyst is basically someone who acts as a linchpin between all the various other roles in a project. So as you all know, a linchpin for a cart is very important. The moment you remove the linchpin, the entire cart might immediately topple. So this business analyst role is also very similar to that. Right from, you name the various phases of it could be a software development lifecycle of a product or a solution, or it could be a project that freshly going to get started at a client location where a business analyst has got a role to perform. So, so as I said, a very, very critical role and always acts as a bridge between the external and the internal stakeholders. So, so it's just that doesn't suffice if the person possesses only the domain knowledge. It's a whole lot of other things like starting with the communication, the skill to writing skills or the documentation skills, or it could be ensuring that behavioral competencies as well, that he interacts with the internal and external stakeholders and keep everybody on the same page, or it could be recommending the technical solution. Not necessarily always technical, I would say. Somebody with pure functional knowledge or domain knowledge can also become a successful BA today. So whatever knowledge area, that domain that they are working on, having knowledge on that and ensuring that the business need that comes from an end user is successfully translated. An idea that comes from an end user or a business user is translated into a reality, or making that as a capability of the vendor's solution or product is what is BA's role in a nutshell. So a BA, business analysis, is performed to define and validate solutions that meet business needs, goals, or objectives. Business analysts often play a central role in aligning the needs of business units with the capabilities delivered by information technology and may serve as a translator between those groups. So let's look at, we have represented this role responsibility of BA diagrammatically as well to help you understand how the continuous role of a BA is performed in any project. So we'll also be in the subsequent sessions, we will also be talking about the key concepts. So the key concepts are basically, to begin with, domain. So domain is, as I said, a domain could be, so one of the participants said, I'm in a different domain today, I want to learn completely different concepts in a new domain. Many people would have that kind of aspirations. I'm working on healthcare, I want to move on, maybe explore more in banking. So it's like doing the business analyst job by understanding a completely new domain. It could be one of those when we talk of the concepts of domain, and then understanding the business need, the capability. It could be solving a small problem. As a BA, there is already a full-fledged solution. You are getting involved, understanding a piece of a problem. Maybe you're talking of, let's say, for example, a channel banking product, and only a small payment-related additional requirement has come from the customer. Understanding only that bit of it and getting that developed in the product, or it could be understanding the entire new module or a new domain itself getting included. Doing a business analysis for that entire module or entire chunk of functionality that the end customer is looking at. Or typically it would be, as I said, the organization exploring a completely new unit within itself. Let's say they're starting an insurance domain, and none of the existing business analysts having any knowledge, prior knowledge about the domain, and exploring more and building the entire product or solution itself by doing the business analysis, the understanding the end need, and building a capability within the solution. So these are, so we will be talking about this, all these aspects. Considering all these aspects, how do we go about doing a business analyst's job? Then coming to the solutions. So solution, as we discussed, it could be providing a solution or solving a particular problem. What is a solution in a generic sense? Solution is solving a particular problem. It could be some kind of a hindrance for an end user. He would be working in a certain pattern. Currently, he wants some change. So any such change that you try, that whatever change he's seeking, so understanding the concept, basically you're trying to help him out to come out of the current situation by providing a new solution which works out amicable solution for the end user. So so understanding the concepts of what are the various ways of providing the solution. So again, as a BA's role, in the subsequent sessions you will understand the solution. What is there a single solution that I can provide to the end user, or are there various other solutions? Am I going to bring onto the table multiple solutions that I can work out within the provided multiple solutions I can provide with the given budget, cost, effort, timeline. Considering all these factors, putting forth the solution that you want to provide, and customer choosing the apt solution that he would require. So working on those aspects, right? So these are some of the concepts that we would be talking about. So any questions? So far, anything that you want to know from the domain or the solutions bit concepts? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me, team?
Yes, I can hear you, Sandhya. This is Mark here. Hi, Daisy, Parul, Sagarika. Do you guys have any questions so far?
No, I don't have any questions. This is Parul. No questions so far.
Okay, Sharik, Taman, Umar. So, do you guys have any questions? If you
Nope.
don't have any questions, you can just just reply saying that
Yeah.
you don't have any questions, so that we can proceed further. Yeah, thank you, guys. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So moving on to requirements. So as a BA, so how well the business analyst will elicit the requirements, and how well he documents it, and how well the end result is arrived at. So the key concepts with related to the requirements, there are when we talk of requirements, the requirements are again subdivided into various different requirements. The requirements can come to a business analyst from various forums within the part of the project. So it could be in the form of a business requirements document. So business requirement document is typically a huge document, a large document, which not just talk about a particular problem in the software or a new requirement, a small requirement, but it talks of the whole lot of all the features that the end customer, end user would be using. So it's I would say it's a complete end-to-end functionality in its entirety that would be there in the business requirements document. Many a times when you become the BA, you keep hearing this word BRD. So BRD, business requirements document, as I said, document, it's like a Bible for the project. Everything end to end as far as feature functionality or the non-functional requirements are concerned, it will be documented, and that document will have to come to the BA from the end user. So we will be discussing at length about how the business requirement documents will be prepared, what are typical template for a business requirement document, and how do you actually go about eliciting your bit of requirement or the new feature that you would be requirement that you would be working on. Then coming to the stakeholder requirements. Many a times what happens is that stakeholders, each of them will have their own interest as far as the project is concerned. For instance, when you call for a requirement elicitation meeting, chances are that people from multiple departments would be attending that. Let's take a banking scenario, because I've worked in a banking scenario, so banking units. So I do understand how the stakeholder requirements could come. So I'll just state an example over there. There could be somebody from an accounts department. Within the bank, you have end user, you have IT departments, you have some finance department, a specific department, somebody would be attending the requirements meeting, or maybe it could still be a project kickoff meeting. We wouldn't have even gone to the requirements gathering phase, but they would have come with a lot of clarity in terms of what exactly they are expecting from this particular from a particular project. So they would keep stating that, look, this is my requirement, I come from so and so department, ensure that these set of features are met in the product, so, or the solution. So the business analyst should be ready to listen to or hear out to such requirements also. Not necessarily that it might transform into the final capability that you're building as a BA, getting it built in the product. Not necessary that all those requirements could come, but yes, you should be ready to hear out to all such stakeholder requirements also that could come in at any point in time. Now coming to the solution requirements. So solution requirements again could be functional in nature or it could be non-functional in nature. For instance, I think it was Sagarika who was talking about the banking industry experience, and she mentioned as a BA she has already worked on building some customer service screen. Sagarika, do you categorize it as a functional requirement or was it a non-functional requirement?
I could say it's a functional requirement because it was something which had some functionality, like an activity going on. And it was, yeah, that's why I say it was a functional requirement. And
Okay.
it was, yeah.
Okay, fine. So I would like to slightly differ over there. See, in a broader sense, if you take, I mean, it's again debatable. In a broader sense, if you look at the functionality that a banking setup would require, yes, from operational point of view, building a customer service complaint stream is extremely important. But as far as the underlying functionality of a banking solution is required, I would beg to differ over there. Now, I would say, yes, it's a nice to have thing, but it's not a must have from within the product, right? There would be a framework to develop a customer service screen. So this is something as an add-on, either the customer himself can build it at a later on point in time, or they can come back to the vendor company to get this, customer complaint screen to be built. So the broader examples I can give is anything nice to have cosmetic or a user interface kind of a, UI changes that the customer would have predominantly fall into the non-functional requirements, and functional requirement is more of a hardcore functionality. Let's say a payment screen was built, some new field to be added, all the while consumer code was already there, some new thing, maybe customer ID to be added, which was not there earlier in a particular screen, building some such feature. Or it could be maker checker, one person does the entry within the bank, and we want the approval to be done by another person. Maybe it could be one leg approval or some 3-4 multiple approvals to be done. This becomes part of the hardcore functionality of a particular domain. So business analysts should have a skill to identify functional and demarcate functional from the non-functional, and also ensure that all of them are clearly documented. So as part of solution requirement,
I have a question.
Details. Yeah. Go on, please.
My application was already an existing one for only one specific kind of customers, and I was given a task to capture the complaints for the rest of the kind of customers. So what kind of, because I was totally going from scratch, not just a UI, but also I was gathering requirements where I had to design a UI by myself, and also check if what functionality do they need. Like functional specification documentation, that's what I did. That's why I said it was a functional requirement.
Yes, definitely. So in that sense, as I said, when you wear different hats, purely from gauging it from a entire, banking solution point of view, I stated that it's debatable. So as far as your work area was concerned, Sagarika, it is purely functional. Whatever you worked on is functional, because you did understand, try to understand the existing functionality, how they were using it, how they are using it currently, and what changes you brought in to that particular feature. So from that context, it's definitely functional. Yeah, I hope I clarified it.
Okay.
Sure. So coming to the fourth part, another concept of requirement, under requirement, is a transition requirement, wherein so just to state an example, a particular solution would be certified in a certain on a certain operating system. Let's say the vendor company would have said, look, this works on Windows 7.0. So if they want to make it available on while the client organization would be having a different operating version, system version, OS version, or it could be a different database version, any kind of transition. So it could be a platform transition, a OS transition, or a migration from one version to another. So capturing this kind of transition requirements, because finally when you are making it available for the client, you have to make it available under the operating system or the database version licensed by the client. So making your software available as per the client's, this is not a standard requirement for the vendor organization which would have come, but vendor is trying to meet a certain client's requirement over here, so they capture it as a transition requirement. Right? Just a small example. There are various other transition requirements also, which we will deal with in the later on subsequent sessions. For now, this is how you can remember the transition requirement. Yeah. So moving on to briefly to talk about the knowledge areas. So business analysis, planning and monitoring is a very important knowledge area that a BA should understand. So end of the day, planning is the key thing. And business analyst's role in any given project doesn't start and end at the requirement gathering. It's I mean, his role is going to be here. His or her role is going to be prevalent till the end of the project, till the go live. So from the project kickoff to the go live. So in the initial part of the project, business analyst would be doing more of requirement gathering, eliciting the requirements, and then again documenting it and making it available to the developers. And then subsequently, when the user acceptance stage starts, after building the solution and deploying at the client's location, doing the user acceptance testing typically done by the end user. So supporting the end users testing activity is also a business analyst's key knowledge, and he should know what is getting tested, how it is getting tested. So how does a BA go about planning the whole his role responsibility in the entire project will be part of it. Elicitation is a key knowledge area that the BA should possess, and there are multiple techniques doing a better way of elicitation, because end of the day every BA should ensure that there is minimal rework in the process in due course of the project. So ensuring that right elicitation techniques are used. To quote your example of building a complaint of a customer service a complaint screen, if you were to have a prototype, a static HTML prototype of, look, this is how I'm going to build this, these are the set of fields that I'm going to make it available in the form that I'm going to build, and taking a sign off and acceptance from the end user in the beginning itself. I mean, because visually when the customer's end user sees, he can relate to what you're going to build easily. He can quickly pinpoint if there are any issues. So prototyping is a very popular elicitation technique that I have come across, right? So like this, there are various other elicitation techniques. Articulation skills are very important, because when as a BA you are eliciting a set of requirements, you have to get the right target audience who will understand what you are trying to build, right? Documenting it in the right way, getting everybody on the same page. So all this becomes part of your communication skills as a BA is very, very important when you are doing eliciting the requirements. So next, moving on, any doubts there, any questions when it comes to elicitation, or any of the above two knowledge areas covered? So hello. Okay, then I'll move on to the remaining knowledge areas. Requirements management and communication, as we said, documenting it, communicating to the right stakeholders, because it's a BA, typically where BA goes wrong is considering that any business need, any capability need that comes from the end user invariably has to be built in your solution. No. A good BA will always try to understand the feasibility of building a certain capability, and whether it is an important functionality or a very important requirement that needs to be built. See, in many cases what happens is there could be some one-time activity that an end user would be performing, still he would want some change, right? So generally I have come across kind of external stakeholders who would say, it's something very huge, you build some changes into some some module, a certain form which is not really used in the real sense. They would have probably in a year maybe touched upon that particular functionality maybe twice or thrice, but still they would be insisting for some changes to be built over there. So there are like this multiple requirements that could be coming. Not necessarily all of them has to be built in your system. You have to understand one, budget, project cost. Internal stakeholders also should be taken into confidence at any given point in time, and also trying to understand why a certain feature to be built. Do the feasibility technically also to check whether you can incorporate those features in the current framework, and then only go ahead and give your solution. So while you have to manage the requirements well, you have to also be always communicating in the right sense to the internal and external stakeholders. Then enterprise analysis, as we said, all these are interrelated. You see, when you go to any knowledge area, delving with that deeply and understanding that particular knowledge area will help you to understand the entire business analysis life cycle. So enterprise analysis is also something like any feature comes, doing a proper impact analysis and ensuring that everything, you build a small feature, let's say a payment, some small feature you are building, and understanding whether, is there any impact on the surround modules of your existing solution. So doing that kind of an analysis is key, even for a small problem that you're solving. And then analyzing the requirements, understanding what is the purpose, what task you are doing, describing at length what your the requirement that you are building. So that's another key knowledge area. You do have templates for many of these. You have best practices followed for all the knowledge areas listed out here. Then solution assessment and validation, as I said. So assessing the right solution. You might have multiple solutions, multiple approaches to solve a particular problem. Taking it, listing down, documenting all those solutions, getting it validated from the internal stakeholders that this is the solution I'm suggesting to the end user, going to the end user and getting those, choosing one of those, ideally suggesting the optimum one yourself, because there could be some solutions which would be very effort consuming, but at the same time you should also meet the project goals. So you have to keep in mind the project goals as well, and the timelines within which you have to incorporate the solution. So assessing all these as part of this knowledge area, you do have templates to do that, and you should be ready to your domain, you have to refine it such that you approach the stakeholder with multiple solutions that you can provide. And the underlying competencies, not necessarily functional, even the behavioral competencies are important. So we will be talking about those knowledge areas as well in detail in the subsequent sessions. So any question so far?
So, घंटा सो जाओ.
So figure would be, I've not put it on a different slide, so you might see it. So this is something which is there in BA BOK also. So maybe I can in the subsequent sessions I would be covering this relationship diagram in detail. So let's move on to the next sessions. Next slides. So task, as we discussed, is an activity that business analyst would perform. So any task that he would be performing, it could be like creating a new form. Let's go back to the same example of building the customer complaint screen. What is the purpose of building that? So there are multiple standard templates available. All BA has to do is to have clarity on what capability he or she is building, right? Every task will carry a purpose and then a detailed description about what feature is getting built, and then what are the input parameters. Input is, as you know, what is the final output or the expectation from that screen? What is it? What are the input fields, input elements that you're feeding to ensure that you get the right output? And what are the various techniques? Typically what happens is that when we talk about the tools and the techniques, we would also be talking about various industry standard tools available to capture the requirement and document the requirement the right way. For instance, IBM has anybody having experience and working on any of the requirement management tool? Sagarika, have you used the regular typical Word, Excel kind of tools, or have you used other standard requirement tool in your experience?
No, we did not we did not use any requirement tool, but the requirements were gathered in certain documentation, like a Word document.
So did you have a specific template in which you would document?
Yeah, every
template.
Yes, you should always ask your manager for your templates. Every bank, every specific project will have their own templates. Most of them are universal, but in my case, they were trying to upgrade the standards of the bank, so they were starting from my project a different set of format which they were expecting for the entire bank to follow in near future. They had a set of standard which was modified and enhanced.
Okay. Okay, fine. So I do have worked on some of the industry standard tools like IBM Requisite Pro, IBM Rational Requisite Pro, and also for the test management, the Rational IBM Test Manager, Rational Test Manager. So RTM, we would call it in short as RTM, and also Rec Pro for Requisite Pro for requirement gathering. So anybody else in the participants, group, if you have come across, just let me know. So we can just highlight some of the features. How does it help in subsequent sessions? We can talk about why standard going even for the techniques, tools and techniques. Why are they required to be used? How does it make a BA's life simpler by having that kind of requirement capturing tools? So for now, in our regular sessions, we only talk about, we'll take a standard template and tell what needs to be filled in. We'll take an example and work on a certain requirement gathering as part of that. So coming to the stakeholders, as we said, you need to be always, it's very, very important to know which group or which department or the stakeholder, unit that for whom you are going to build this requirement, because they vetting it out, the requirement, new requirement that you as a BA documenting or building it, getting it built, it's very, very important. So stakeholders, for every task you need to know who's the stakeholder for that particular task. And then finally the output. So I feed in set of elements. This is what should be the output. So how the output form should look like. Documenting all these clearly is very, very important. So we'll talk about the tasks at length, and then the techniques, as we said. So typically what the projects do is, when we handle larger projects, we define the strategy in the beginning itself. The project strategy should talk about any requirement gathering tool that the vendor organization is going to use as an organization and as a project. What are the set of tools that we are going to use? So typically, the larger projects that I have been involved with, we would have something like tool strategy document, just the tools and techniques, which would talk about only for testing. This is what we are going to do. We are going to use the quality center. We are going to use the RTM, or it could be any standard available tool. And for reporting the bugs, it could be Bugzilla, it could be Zoho, or any even a Jira. So documenting the tools to be used during the testing by the user acceptance team, or it could be our internal testing team. So documenting all that aspect. So in every phase of SDLC of a project execution, what different tools and techniques to be used, and usage considerations of those tools. So all these will be covered as part. So that's a key driver for any project. Now once not necessarily that every project will have we can't expect that a strategy document should be available for everything. It depends on so many other, because typically the projects are time bound. There may not be a time available to build a strategy document, but then as a BA you should be clear that what is the expectation with respect to tools and techniques from the project execution point of view. Okay, so we'll be talking about that in length. And now moving on to the underlying competencies. Any questions so far? Anything on tools, techniques, the topics that we are going to cover in subsequent sessions? And I would like to mention over here that however the BA walk or the other BA handbooks are structured, to the extent possible, I've kept the flow of the topics according to that. So if you want me to emphasize more on a particular topic, subtopic, please do let me know, either in advance or during the session itself. I will be flexible enough to clarify any questions you may have. Any questions so far, please?
I don't have a question, but I have a request. If you could show us how can we use the requirement tool of IBM Doors? Did you use Doors? If that was the one, and also I never used Quality Center. If you can go while the session, if you can help us understand that.
Okay. See, two things here. One is when I was in the previous organization, I've used the IBM Rational Test Manager and the Requisite Pro. So I'll check if I can, some lower version, if it's available as a freeware, I'll download it, or I'll let me see how I can, get a hand on it. Once I do that, maybe, I'll demonstrate.
It's available as a free demo.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
it's available.
So I'll sure. So let me I do that. I'll take care of that. So maybe what we can do is we'll take a small requirement. Probably maybe banking or maybe healthcare, real estate. We'll take one of these very small requirement, and I'll show you how it can be. Probably in one session, probably a few hours. I can do that. Not an issue. And with respect to quality center, what I can do is I can bring out the differences. I can state to you. The difference that exists. I think that should help, because mostly quality center, as you see, as you know, had monopolized the market for a very long time, and Rational Test Manager, Requisite Pro came slightly later. But then, in principle, they are all one and the same, but for some smaller differences between the two. And I worked on Quality Center 8.0. This was in, I think, way back in 2009-10. I worked on it. So if there is any latest version, let me do some homework on the latest features. But then, yeah, I can definitely provide you the differences between the Quality Center and the Rational suite of solutions. I can do that. Okay. So we'll move on to the final. I think we are almost at the end of the session. So the underlying competencies, as I said, analytical thinking and problem-solving skills, key competency that a business analyst should possess. Definitely, because you are there to provide the solution to the end user. You should be at the drop of the hat know what are the various solutions you can provide to the customer. And again, not necessarily that you should always be providing solutions. There are times when you will have to push back some requirement back to the customer, probing, questioning, why certain requirement need to be built. They definitely appreciate that quality from a business analyst, rather than generally taking everything, documenting, and going back to the internal teams and getting it built, right? So you should have possess this analytical thinking and problem-solving skills. Behavioral characteristics, very important, because finally, as I said, you are the linchpin of the project, and ensure that all the teams are in harmony. So most of the times conflict arises. You might take the requirement, framework might have some challenges, limitations, technically, the internal team might not be ready to develop it, resolving all the internal external conflicts, keeping everybody on the same page forms your behavioral characteristic. Possessing the business knowledge, the domain knowledge, and to the extent the product that you're working, the knowledge on that solution, right? And then the communication is very important, your articulation skills, right? So because I've come across some BAs, in the past, working with me, who are excellent in technical knowledge, but then articulation would be a problem. I mean, just that they wouldn't have the exposure to talk to a group of people, because at any given point we should not be, as a BA, carrying the feeling that they would have a better domain knowledge than us. They might have, but end of the day we are providing the solution for them. What is the end objective? Providing whatever business need they have, providing that capability within our solution. So we have to have complete clarity on what we are trying to build, and for that, communicate, talk, listen, and document. So all these form the part of communication skills. Your interaction skills, they are interrelated, right? So the BA box says, yeah, you need to have the interaction skills as well, specifically, and then you need to also have the knowledge on the software applications. See, many a times what happens is that just having knowledge on the particular solution for which you're building this requirement, it wouldn't suffice. You may have to also have the knowledge of the interfaces. For instance, let's take a credit card solution, right? A credit card system. might be interacting in a banking scenario. It might be interacting with the core banking solution. It might be interacting with the channel banking solution directly. So when you are taking some new requirement for a credit card module or a credit card system, you should also keep at the back of your mind, are there going to be any interface challenges? How is this new requirement I'm building getting translated or getting incorporated in the interface layers? Having some knowledge, at least the knowledge to the extent of what interface layers that this will have impact. At least the interface functionality needs to be understood. Just an example I quoted. It could be sometimes even the database. You might know functionality. You might be thorough with, to a certain extent, high level at least, you should know what is the data dictionary. At least the major tables in a database, you should have the knowledge about, so what's the impact of that on the existing table? Can I touch this particular table? Can I build this functionality for this, master table of the existing solution? So these are, from that point of view, from analyzing the requirement from that point of view is very important. To that extent, you need to have the knowledge on the software specifications. So with this, I have come to the end of the introduction to BA session. Giving you an overview, highlighting the high level, at a very high level, very, very high level, I would say, what is it that I'm going to talk about in the subsequent sessions. So any questions? Any more questions from your end, please? Any more takeaways you're looking at? Mark?
Hello, Sandhya?
Yeah. Hi, Mark.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So as I said, I've come to the end of this session. So I'm done with the introduction to BA session.
Okay.
So we'll move on to the subsequent topics in detail.
Sure, Sandhya.
As we move on.
Okay, guys. You know what? Here I'm gonna just update you guys by tomorrow. Okay, so I'm gonna call everyone, and I'll give the full schedule. So from when it's gonna start and what's the schedule and all those stuff. All right. So for now, if you have any questions, you can ask me. Parul, Pranita, Sagarika, Sharik, Umar, do you guys have any questions for me now?
No, I don't have anything yet.
Okay, great, Sagarika. And what about Parul and Pranita? So do you guys have any questions?
No, I don't have any question as of now.
Okay, great. Thank you. And Pranita and Sharik, do you have any questions? Pranita, can you hear me? Sharik, so can you hear me? Okay. Umar, can you hear me? Okay, I think yeah, Umar, do you have any questions for me? Okay, well, I believe that you guys don't have any questions, so we're gonna end the class, and I'm gonna call you guys tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandhya.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.